It is February. That means, drumroll please. Valentine's Day is literally around the corner. Oh yeah. So how about we get down to it and let's learn how to create this cute little heart for your decoration around the house. Hello everyone and welcome to Amparo Wonderland. Today we are going to learn how to create this cute little three-dimensional heart. It is so adorable, super easy, very beginner friendly, and it is perfect for a Valentine if you want to give it to someone and say, "Will you be my Valentine?" And they will say, "Yes, I will be your Valentine." So let's go ahead and create this cute three-dimensional heart. So let's stop talking and let's get yarning. So here we are. First things first, we need our materials. What we are going to need for this project is a sharp pair of scissors, of course. We need our best friends here, the stitch markers, our darning needle, our hook. We are using a 3.75 millimeter hook today. We need our yarn, of course. I am using the color pink from I Love This Yarn. And last but not least, we need some stuffing for our heart. So go ahead and grab your materials and grab that free pattern that I have for you in the description box down below. It is the first link in that box for you. So that way you can follow along with the written pattern and the video at the same time. Okay, so go ahead and grab the pattern, come back to this video, and yeah, so okay, let's clear this out really quick. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this started. What we're going to do is that we're going to grab our yarn, of course, and to start off our heart, what we need to do is that we're going to use the magic ring. So if you do not know how to create your magic ring, it is very easy, very simple. I do have a card at the top right corner of this video where it will show you how to create a magic ring in a short form, a YouTube short. So we got our magic ring here. This is what it looks like so far. Hopefully you can see it. And for our magic ring, what we're going to do in this case, because this is considered an amigurumi style, which is kind of like a stuffed animal, except it is a heart. When you are working with the amigurumi, you are going to do the method that is called the yarn under, yarn over method. Some people do both yarn under, yarn under. And what that means is this. It's very easy. So we're going to do 6 single crochet into our magic ring first. So let me show you how you make that. You're going to go into your magic ring. You're going to yarn under. Okay, so this is yarn over. That means that the yarn is over your hook. We want the yarn under our hook, and we're going to pull up that loop just like that. And now we're going to yarn over. Okay, so yarn over and go through those 2 loops that are in the back of your hook there. We're going to grab our best friend here and we're going to mark up that first stitch. Keep in mind, I am doing instructions as if you're a beginner. So if you are not a beginner and experienced crocheter, then you don't need to use that stitch marker if you don't want to. Now let's go ahead and go in again. We're going to create 6 of those single crochet. So you yarn under, you pull up your loop, yarn over, and pull through those 2 loops that are on your hook right there. Pull it right through. And that's your second single crochet. Do that again. Go into the hook, yarn under, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And now we have 3 single crochet, as you can see. So we're going to continue that process of doing the yarn under, yarn over until you have 6 single crochet in your magic ring here. Okay, so we have 6 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, which is where we have our stitch marker. Now we're going to close our magic ring. To close our magic ring, all you gotta do is, you see this little string here? This is the one that's connected to our yarn ball, and it's called the working yarn. We're not gonna touch that. We're going to grab the little one and we're just going to pull it, and you're going to hold on to your rest of your stitches with your other hand and just pull that string all the way as tight as you can, but be very careful not to snap it off. I'm sure it has happened, not to me, and hopefully never does. And now our magic ring is closed, as you can see. Okay, perfect. Now what we're going to do, we are now in round 2. So let's put up that round counter just so you know, just in case you get lost. So we are in round 2 right now, and we're going to go into this first stitch here, which is where our stitch marker is. And we're going to remove it. And what we're going to do is that we're going to do an increase into each stitch. An increase is simply 2 stitches in 1 stitch. And in this case, we are doing 2 single crochet into this 1 stitch. Okay, so let's go ahead, go into that first stitch there. Try not to do what I did and create the stitch very tight, making it hard to put your hook in there. There you go. And like I said, we're going to continue that yarn under, yarn over method. So yarn under, pull up your loop, yarn over, and pull through those 2 loops. And go ahead and mark up that first one because we are working in rounds. You could very easily get lost. Again, if you are an expert and will not get lost, then you don't have to do that. Now, we're going to do our increase, and this is stuck there, so I'm just going to leave it. And what we're going to do is that we're going to go into that same exact stitch that we just made that first single crochet. And we're going to go and do another single crochet with the yarn under. As you can see, I'm yarning under, pulling up our loop, yarn over, and then pull through those 2 loops. Okay? Perfect. Now you made an increase of 2 single crochet in that 1 stitch. We're going to move over to the next stitch here. And in this next stitch, we're going to create another increase. So you do 2 single crochet into that stitch. So you yarn under, you pull up your loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. Do it one more time. Yarn under, pull up your loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches in total so far. So you're going to continue doing the increases. So remember, 2 stitches in each stitch. And at the end of this round, you need to have 12 single crochet in total. Okay? So go ahead and continue doing your increases into each stitch, and don't forget to do the yarn under, yarn over method because this keeps your stitches tighter and smaller, making it easier to stuff your amigurumi heart. So go ahead and pause your video and I will see you at the end. Alright, welcome back. We have finished our round 2 of the heart, and we're going to go ahead to round 3. In round 3, what we're going to do is that we're going to do a single crochet into each stitch all the way around. So that means that we'll have 12 single crochet in total. And this is actually going to be round 3 and round 4 because round 4 is going to be the same exact thing, which means single crochet around the circle, meaning 12 single crochet twice. Hopefully that makes sense. So let's go ahead with round 3 first before we get ahead of ourselves. And what we're going to do is that we're literally just going to do what we've been doing and just do 1 single crochet with your yarn under, yarn over method, just like that, and then mark up your first stitch. Okay, you want to make sure you mark it up every time at the beginning of every round. Please do that, because if you're a beginner and you don't, you are going to get so lost. I promise you, you will get lost. No matter how confident you are in your counting will go against you sometimes. So let's go ahead and go forward. And we did our first single crochet there. And we're going to go into our next stitch here and just do the same exact thing. So a yarn under, yarn over, go into the next one, yarn under, yarn over. Okay, so keep going all the way around. Do that 12 times. Okay, and then you're going to repeat that round one more time. So round 3 and round 4 are 12 single crochet in total for each. Okay? Okay, so go ahead and pause your video, do rounds 3 and round 4, and then come back and I'll tell you what's next. Alright, here we go. This is what it looks like after doing round 3 and 4. Okay, and what we're going to do next, you're probably not going to expect, but we are actually going to fasten off our yarn here. To fasten off, you literally just cut the yarn doesn't have to be super long, so do not worry about that. And then you're just gonna grab your hook and just pull the string out, just like that. And you're probably thinking like, what? This is not a heart yet. And you're right, because this is only part 1 of the heart. I'm sorry. So what we're gonna do to get part 2 of the heart. Hey, future self here. So this is the part where my microphone decided to stop working. So from here on out, I am going to be doing an overdub. So if the audio sounds a little different, you know why. So let's go ahead and continue with this video tutorial. So now that we finished part 1, we need to go to part 2. And to create part 2 of our heart is that we are going to repeat rounds 1 through 4. And the only difference is that at the end of round 4, when you're creating your second dome, as I like to call them a dome, you are not going to fasten off, okay? I repeat, do not fasten off. You will regret if you fasten off. So, I repeat one more time, do not fasten off after round 4 on your second dome. So go ahead and pause the video, create your rounds, and then come back here and I will show you what we're gonna do next. Here we go, we've got our second dome here. I did rounds 1 through 4, and as you can see, I have not fastened off, and hopefully you heed my warning and did not fasten off as well. And now what we're going to do is that we're going to connect these 2 domes together here. So let's go ahead and get this started. First things first, let's remove our best friend here because we are going to continue this round, which is round 5. So for round 5, we're going to do 6 single crochet into this first dome here. Make sure you create your first single crochet and mark up your first stitch. And then continue on and create, like I said, 6 single crochet. So that means 1 single crochet 6 times. And you're going to repeat the yarn under, yarn over method that we have been doing so we can stay consistent. And after your 6 single crochet, we are going to grab our second dome here. And I'm going to put into this stitch right here, which is the 4th single crochet from that last stitch that we have. You insert your hook, and we're going to create a single crochet like we have been doing. So normally, nothing different, everything's the same, we're just connecting it into the next one. So you're going to yarn under, pull up the loop, yarn over, and pull through those 2 loops that you have on your hook. And now on this dome, that counts as 1 single crochet, and we're going to continue going around this second dome, and we're going to create 12 single crochet in total. So this first one is 1 single crochet, and the next one we're making now is the second single crochet. So we're doing the same thing that we've been doing, again, with the same method of the yarn under, yarn over method. This is my 3rd single crochet, and this is my 4th single crochet. So you're going to go into that stitch, that final stitch, and just tighten that end to make sure that the stitch isn't too loose. And now you can weave in this end as you single crochet around this second dome. So I'm going to go ahead and continue creating my 12 single crochet before I lose count. So go ahead and pause the video, create your 12 single crochet in total, and then come back to this video. Alright, here we go. So I've got my 12 single crochet from this dome that we were working on. And now we're back at the beginning of the first dome where we did our first 6 single crochet. We're going to do another 6 single crochet. So the easiest way to know which one to go into, you're going to go to where your stitch marker is, and you're going to count the stitch next to it on the right side, and you're going to count 6 single crochet. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this 6th one is the one that you're going to go into to connect the second dome together again. And we're doing that yarn under, yarn over, and that's it. Now you can continue and create 5 more single crochet. so you can get to the end of this round. It is very easy, very simple, and just foolproof. Okay, so we got to the end of our round here, of round 5. As you can see, I'm getting a little stuck with all of my ends here. So what we're going to do is that we're simply going to stuff all of our ends into these domes here, into the part of the heart, because you don't need to cut these out. You can actually use it as part of your stuffing for your heart. And that's the easiest thing that you can do, to be honest. So much better. You don't have to worry about weaving in your ends. You just stuff it all in there and you can continue with the round. So this is what it should look like for you right now. We've got our 2 domes put together, or sewed on together, crocheted on together, however you want to say it. And now we can move on to round 6. In round 6, what we are going to do is that we are going to create something that is called an invisible decrease. And a decrease is when you attach 2 stitches together, making 1 stitch with those 2 stitches. That might sound a little confusing, so I am just going to show you how that works. So the pattern is you do 2 single crochet, and then you're going to do the invisible decrease. So let's go ahead and remove our stitch marker here, our best friend, and we're going to create our first single crochet into the next stitch here. Same method, don't forget, yarn under, yarn over. Mark up that stitch so you don't forget what stitch is your first stitch from the round, and then we're going to create another single crochet. Perfect. So now we're going to go into this next 2 stitches here, and normally you go through the whole stitch and then go into the next stitch, but to create the invisible decrease, what you're going to do is that we're going to go into the front loop only. So let me show you what this stitch looks like. As you can see, we have this stitch that looks like this. We have the front loop here in the front and the back loop there. We're going to work into the front loop only. So I'm going to grab my hook and go into the front loop of this stitch, and then you're going to go into the next stitch, the same thing, front loop only, just like this, and then yarn under, pull up your loop, you yarn over and pull through those 2 loops, and there you go. You've got your first invisible decrease. Perfect. So now you're going to continue creating that pattern of 2 single crochet and then your invisible decrease. So I'm going to show you how to do that again one more time, just in case. So we create 2 single crochet here, and now we're going to do the invisible stitch. So go to the front loop in the next stitch, only front loop, and then go into the next stitch, again front loop only, yarn under, go through both loops, yarn over, and then go through those 2 loops on your hook. And there you go, another invisible decrease. So go ahead and continue that pattern of creating 2 single crochet and then the invisible decrease, and you're doing that 6 times in total for this round. So go ahead and pause the video and then come back when you finish this round. Awesome, we made it to round 7. Congratulations, you're doing it. Now, for round 7, we are going to do a similar pattern as we did for round 6. But what we're going to do is that instead of doing 2 single crochet, we're going to do 1 single crochet first, and then the invisible decrease. So let's go ahead and create our 1 single crochet first. Again, I will repeat this one more time. Yarn under, yarn over method, okay? Don't forget. So grab your stitch marker and go ahead and mark up your first stitch. And now we're going to do that invisible decrease. So you go to the front loop only, yarn under, pull up your loop, yarn over, pull through those 2 loops. Simple, very simple. So go ahead and continue that. So do 1 single crochet and then the invisible decrease using your front loops only. Okay? And then go ahead and do that 6 times again for this round. And then come back to this video after you pause it, and I will show you what is next. We are almost there, you guys. We can do this. We made it! Woo! Now we gotta go on to round 8. But before we go on to round 8, what we're going to do is that we are going to stuff our heart. So I'm going to extend my loop here and remove my hook to make sure that it doesn't come undone. And now you're going to go ahead and open up your heart like this and just simply stuff it with the stuffing. You want to make sure that you stuff it just as much as you can, but not too much, to the point where you are bursting the seams, because then the stuffing will come out of the holes, even if your stitches are tight enough. So basically do it just right, like Goldilocks, just right. So we're going to stuff one side first and then the second side, and then if you need a little more for the top here in the middle, you can add a little more. Like I said, don't overstuff it, because you want to make sure that you have enough space to continue the rounds, and also that your heart doesn't burst. You want to keep your heart whole. So it should look a little bit like this. I still have a little bit left, and I'm going to hold on to this so that way I can stuff at the end of my heart as well, because you want to stuff as you go when you are creating an amigurumi. So let's go ahead and continue round 8, which is actually very, very easy. By the way, you should have 12 single crochet in total after creating round 7. So we're gonna continue round 8, and what we're going to do is that we are going to do single crochet around. It's very easy. So literally 1 single crochet into each stitch, meaning that you should have 12 single crochet in total for this next round of round 8. So go ahead and create your yarn under, yarn over method and create 12 single crochet. So pause your video and then come back so I can show you what we're going to do on our last round, round 9. Here we have it. We have finished round 8 and we have gotten to our final round, round 9. So for round 9, what we are going to do is that we are going to create a round of invisible decreases. Yes, so that is all you're going to do. So you're going to create 6 invisible decreases in total, meaning you will have 6 stitches total for this round. So you're going to do the front loop only, yarn under, pull up your loop, yarn over, and pull through those 2 loops, and that's your first invisible decrease. Okay, so just repeat that pattern 6 times around, and then come back here so I can show you what you're gonna do to finalize our amigurumi. Woohoo! Alright, so I am finishing up my last invisible decrease here. As you can see, we are finished with the round, and there still is kind of a little bit of an opening, but that is completely okay. You want to remove your stitch marker, and now we're going to fasten off. But before we fasten off, I'm going to stuff my heart a little more, so that way the stuffing is at the very tippity top or tippity bottom of the heart, so that way it can be completely stuffed from top to bottom, just as you should want for your heart. You want a full heart, right? So you stuff it just like that. Again, don't overstuff it, and this looks just fine for me. So now we can go ahead and fasten off this end here. You don't have to do it super long, but long enough to weave in, because we're going to close up our heart with it. So go ahead and fasten off, and then use your hook or your finger and just extend the loop all the way out, and you're done. You have fastened off your end. Now, this is where your darning needle comes into play. We're going to use our darning needle for this next section. We're going to grab the end of our end, and we're gonna put it into the hoop of our darning needle. Now let me show you what we're gonna do. You can do it whatever way you want, but this is how I like to do it to close up my amigurumi heart. We're gonna go into the next stitch here, You could do the front loop only. You can go through the whole stitch if you want. I'm going to go through the whole stitch. And you're going to go around like this, from the front to the inside. All the way around in each stitch. Front, inside, and then front, inside. You're doing that 6 times since you have 6 stitches from that last round. And now that you have done your 6 front inside weaving, we're going to pull this tight, and that's going to close up that little hole that we had at the bottom of our heart. And look at it, it's so cute. Oh, I love it. You have just made your heart. Oh, actually, I want to point this out here, that if yours is popping up a little bit here, as you can see, you can kind of see the stuffing at the top of my heart. I'm going to show you what happens, or what you can do to try and close that up. So I'm glad that I am glad that this did happen. So I can show you what you're going to do. So make sure that this is nice and tight, that your hole is closed, and you're going to go and weave your darning needle all the way to the top here, and just weave it all the way through. And now what we're going to do is that you're simply going to weave across the ends here through the big holes, so that way you can just kind of like sew it together normally, like you naturally would with clothing. And you just go across from stitch to stitch, and just make sure that you're not doing it in spots where it's going to be too noticeable. So I'm going to do one more over here, because this is kind of like a big hole that I don't like, so that way it kind of hides it. And that's it. No more of that, because then it will look a little funny and noticeable. So that's it. As you can see, it doesn't look bad. You can't even notice what I did. So it is perfect. Now let me show you a trick on how to weave in this end. What you're going to do is that you're going to go into the same stitch where the thread is already coming through, or the yarn is coming through. So go through that hole and just go into any hole on the other side. So I chose this one. My needle went through this one, so the needle chose basically. And as you can see, you can't see where it went. And you're just going to repeat that process. Go from where it comes out, not a different one. Go into the same hole where your yarn is coming out of, and go across in a different spot of a heart. Any hole, it really does not matter. And you're just going to repeat that process back and forth. So going into the same stitch where the yarn is coming through, and then go across somewhere else, wherever your darning needle chooses to go to, and just keep repeating that over and over again until your end becomes short enough and you feel safe and secure that your heart is secure and safe. So go ahead and pause the video and continue to weave in this end, and then come back here and I'll show you how you're going to finish it up. Alright, here we go. So I am satisfied with mine. You simply just stretch the yarn like this, as much or as little as you want, and you're just going to cut to the very end here. Just make sure not to cut the rest of your heart, and if the yarn is sticking out a little bit, just push it in a little bit with your darning needle, and that's it. You're done. You have finished. Your amigurumi heart is all done and created, and it's so freaking cute, and now you can use it for whatever you want. It was so easy, very beginner friendly. Let me know if you agree, and click that thumbs up if you agree. I want to know, because it helps me out figure out if these are truly beginner friendly or not for you, because my level of expertise has gone up a little bit, and I want to make sure that you can all create the things that I share with you all. So give me that thumbs up and let me know if you agree that this was cute, fun, and easy, beginner friendly. So there you have it. You now know how to create this cute 3-dimensional amigurumi heart. Don't forget, the free pattern is down below in the description box. So if you have not gotten it and you like free stuff like me, go ahead and grab your free pattern. Come on, you know you want it. So grab that free pattern and follow along with this video if for any reason you get lost, and it will always be there for you. And if for any reason you have any comments, questions, or concerns, let me know in the comments section down below, so that way I can get back to you as soon as possible. So now that you know how to create these cute little heart amigurumis, you can incorporate them into, let's say, a bag, but you don't know how to make a bag. Well, no worries, because I have a video for you right over here. You want to go ahead and check it out, where I show you 3 different methods on how to create a bag of your choice. So go over here, I'll see you there, and if not, then I will see you in the next one. And as always, thank you for sticking around, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!